You guys remember when The Division first revealed its trailer and its gameplay reveal back 10 years ago at this point? 10 years it's been since we learned about The Division. And looking back at it and just seeing the fidelity and the graphics and just the direction that this game was going in, and then seeing what happened when it finally released is just such a letdown. I mean, this is one of the first games that I ever pre-ordered and definitely one of the last ones. But just the music, the Christmas vibe, the whole shebang around The Division just really made me want a game that really felt like this. And then of course the day before debacle came out and everyone thought that was going to be a thing, and clearly that wasn't. And I knew it wasn't going to be a game at all, let alone an actual finished product. But the fact of the matter is that people want this type of game really badly. I mean, look at the hype that was built around the day before. Moving around in like a New York City type environment with snow and weather effects, and just like, especially with extraction games nowadays, how popular they are, Streets of Tarkov. Everyone wants this kind of gameplay, and it just doesn't feel like that Ubisoft can deliver on this experience. Not until the game is finally released and then it becomes a good game 10 years later. I mean, I've gone back to playing The Division here, and I will say there's no game right now that has this level of immersion in a New York City environment. Yes, there are games that have crazy amounts of immersion, but just not to the scale of an entire city, let alone just a portion of it. And then I look at this thing called The Day Before Parody, basically just a parody game trailer that this one guy made just to make fun of The Day Before. But even this has accumulating snow on the ground with footprints and trails. Just the whole thing makes me really want either a zombie survival game or an extraction shooter set in New York City, and I just don't get why we can't get that. But we do have an extraction shooter coming in the Division series, and that one's called Division Heartland. But this takes place in a made-up town called Silver Creek, which is like a made-up version of a town in Kansas, hence the name Heartland. And I did get to play some of the closed beta, but of course I was under NDA, so I can't show any of the gameplay that hasn't been shown already, or I can't talk about the game that hasn't been told already. But playing this and knowing that it's going to be a somewhat extraction shooter with PvE and PvP elements, but it's also a free-to-play experience, I just really want to see how this game launches and how the audience takes it, because I think traditional Division players are going to maybe not like it, while brand new players are going to absolutely enjoy it, especially because it's going to be a free-to-play shooter, so you really have nothing to lose other than maybe some time. But even this suffers from just this gamification and the cosplay and the weird just looks of the game sometimes, that for some reason still the first Division game really takes a good handle on. Just the clutter of the city, the way it makes it really feel that basically time stopped during a actual pandemic. And people look at 2020 and see, oh, this is what this was going to be. I remember all the jokes that were coming out during 2020, 2021, when people thought we were just gonna see orange glowing watches on people out of nowhere. But let's, that didn't really happen. I don't know, man. Look, I'm just playing this game now and it really makes me want something new. So here are just a couple things that I want in the next Division game, which is currently being worked on, the Division 3. I just really want in this next game, and it's not Heartland. Heartland is not Division 3. It is a separate title, basically like a DLC spin-off almost. It kind of feels like a DLC spin-off from the Division 2, which I still feel like kind of dropped the ball a bit. Even though I love the setting, Washington DC, I just really feel like it could have done a little bit more, especially with the immersion factor. Now, talking about some of the things that I really want, we need a survival type DLC for Division 3. In fact, if you could just make the Division 3 basically survival DLC, I think that would be such a really cool like game mode. The way the city looked during a blizzard, the way you had to actually sit by a fire and stay warm, and just the PvP made it feel a lot different than your average Dark Zone experience, which, let's be honest, is just full of meta builds and spongy type enemies, which is another thing that I really want that's not in the next Division. Well, it most likely will be, but I just don't want it in, is spongy type enemies. I get it, it's an RPG, so you need to have elite enemies, boss type levels and stuff like that, but I mean, does every single person need to have a sponge-like element to them? Can I not just take out a guy in 1 to 2 shots? Or maybe if I have a better set of armor compared to the other guy, then I can take a couple more rounds and he can't, and vice versa, depending on the caliber of the weapon. I don't know, I just feel like a little bit more realism will go a long way in the feel of the Division. I mean, this is supposed to be end of the world. This is supposed to be just super immersive, and Ubisoft is really good at crafting these worlds. Look at all like Ubisoft past titles. Like, the worlds are actually really good until you start playing the actual game. The gameplay within these games just don't hit as much as they tend to showcase, especially in the trailers. Now, I know a lot of people might disagree with me on that aspect, but for me, as a long-time Division and Ubisoft player, and I don't really post it on the channel a lot here because I'll be honest, it might not do well on the channel. I'm still not so sure how well this does on the channel. So if you do end up liking this video, first of all, please hit that like button and of course subscribe for more future content just like this. But just, I really want the next Division to be just something more, like way more than the first 2 games were. Now, I do feel like maybe they can just bring in some of the elements from the Division 2 as well when it comes to, you know, customization and weapon inventory system, and just that aspect is, I think, done very well. I actually do like the UI. It can be cluttered a little bit, especially when you start turning on all the UI elements, because I do like turning off a lot of the UI elements, especially in the first Division. It just makes the game look a lot better. But apparently the 3rd Division is going to be set back in time during the first wave of the first Division game. So if you guys remember correctly, the first Division game, geez, I'm gonna get numbers confused. The first one, you were the second wave of Division agents that went in, and a lot of them were missing. Now you can go and look around for missing agents and see what happened to them and just kind of get a feel of what happened and get a really cool jacket at the end of it. But you never really got to see what happened, especially from the actual agent's point of view before Fei Lao came into the picture and all that fun stuff. And I really want to see just the chaos of what this actual pandemic looked like. I mean, this is going to be ground zero, day one. I mean, everything goes to hell. So there should be a lot of immersive storytelling elements, which then correlates with 1 and 2 with the immersion of like the survival. I mean, scrounging for stuff. I mean, like literally the JTF was just being formed, if that. I mean, really the JTF was after nearing the second wave almost, it feels like. And this is going to be like, again, the first Division agents that were activated. So again, everything has shut down. All hell has broken loose and you are now being activated because they have no one else to call. So this needs to be showcased somehow in the 3rd Division game. Again, I just want to see more survival elements, less spongy enemies, and more emphasis on the story and not the gear in the game. Again, I just wanted to put my 2 cents into this, and I didn't make a script for this. This is really just off the cuff, but I really want to know what you guys think about the Division series as a whole. Is it mishandled? Can it be done properly? Will it be done properly? Let me know all your thoughts below in the comments, and please hit that like button, of course, and subscribe to the channel. We just hit 7,000 subscribers, so again, I appreciate all you guys. I definitely want to cover the Division Heartland when it comes out, and maybe some more future news coming for the Division 3. So again, stick around to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.